It's time for this week's episode of Brandon Sports Talk, featuring in-depth interviews from those who are trending in the world of athletics. And now, here's the host of Brandon Sports Talk, Brandon Pate.
Welcome back to Brandon Sports Talk. In today's episode, I have the privilege of interviewing the Browns' assistant women's rugby coach, Coach Bridget Kahele. How are you doing today?
Good. How you doing, Brandon?
I'm doing good. Can you talk about how you knew that you wanted to get started in coaching in college women's rugby?
So it was pretty much through Coach Rosalind. I didn't really know. I hadn't done too much coaching before. So I was playing under her at Life, and my last year when my eligibility ran out, I still had a bit of school left, so she was and I was kind of around to Atlanta, so she invited me to be on the staff and help out with the backs and coach the scrum halves, and then it kind of just took off from there.
What was that experience like going to college and playing collegiate rugby?
It was a big change. I think most people going into college level rugby, they don't expect that it's going to be that much faster, more physical, but it's a different level for sure. So it was uh it was a big surprise to have to compete, and you're training in, day out. So it's a big difference from high school when you train like twice a week. So now you get to college and you have, your S&C, you have a coach for this, you watch film. So you're really committed to the sport for pretty much every day. And then you're probably resting like twice a week. So big difference. Yeah.
How was that experience like going to AIC and getting you to put on that rugby uniform for them?
It was a big honor. I definitely was excited to get recruited and go to AIC. At the time, they probably were like around top four in the NIRE conference, and kind of always known as the underdog school. So I knew that there wasn't the school that had like all the bells and whistles, but a lot of great rugby players had come out of the program and like become all Americans, gone in the national team. So it's a big task to get in there, and you're definitely training, sometimes hot summers, no AC in the gym, but it was a really competitive, good environment. And it really set me kind of on this path to becoming the player that I am, and fighting for, positions, and just asking more of yourself and wanting more. So it was a tough experience, but I definitely don't regret anything for sure.
What was that feeling like for you getting to put on that rugby jersey for the first time for AIC?
It was awesome. I didn't expect to start as a freshman, but I was, blessed enough and worked hard enough to earn a starting position in the back line, which was a little bit of a switch up for me because I came in as a forward. So it was a little tough because I wasn't exactly the fastest center out there, but it was um it was still pretty much an honor, and it's a big ask as well to start. So there's a little bit of pressure to perform, but I mean, it's a privilege to get that kind of pressure. So you go out there and you just do your best and you keep trying to grow. And that was just my goal, just try to get a little bit better after every season, get a little bit better after every practice, and try to maintain a starting position for sure. So
For you as a player, what was that transition like going from playing college rugby to getting to play with the New Zealand team?
a lot more faster too. So it's just another level up. There's another big challenge. And just a different experience culture wise to see how they see rugby, and it's a little bit more of a way of life, but the way they honor the sport is a lot different too. And so it definitely changed my perspective on the sport and how I saw it. I fell in love with it again through playing with them because see a lot of family through it, and their values are really pushed in the sport. So like, trust, family, and the biggest thing I took away from when I was there was how they got back from like, mistakes or failures on the field. It's very much a conversation about how do we come back together from this? It wasn't like, oh, well, she missed this tackle, or she made up, she knocked on the ball. It was more like, okay, what do we do as a group now to come back from this, and to get our team back into this game? So that was something that really stuck with me, and I really loved about playing over there. And the way they just play rugby is more free, more natural. So it's less scripted. It's more of like what's in front of you and relying on your basics. Like you're passing, you're tackling, making sure that those are all really consistent. And then once you have those down, they really just play what they see, like space wise. So it was really cool.
As a player, what was it like getting to play with the Women's Premier League?
That was awesome. I was lucky enough that when I finished my time at Life playing, Roz was the coach for the Atlanta WPL team at the time. So we just like pretty much the whole senior class at Life just kind of transitioned over and played for Rosalind in WPL. So it was pretty much just like another year at Life. We just had pretty much like a core group from Life there, and then a lot of great players that had already been on the Quins there with us supporting us. So really awesome team. And it was a little bit more challenging trying to kind of build that chemistry with new players, having that core group from Life. But it was pretty awesome that my first year we came in, we went to semifinals for nationals. We were pretty close, but unfortunately we just fell short. But it was our strong year. I think we went pretty much undefeated. We had one loss that season at the beginning, but it was a really good run for that team. So it was awesome.
After your time at Premier and playing for Life, what was it like getting into coaching?
It was good. I felt with Coach Chow was able to kind of each year I kind of learned from her also what like I started to get really good at coaching. So there were like, we would discuss what drills I would basically run and what parts of film I would do. And through all that, I kind of just started to see what I really enjoyed coaching and what I was really good at coaching. And so I really found my place with the details about rugby, the basics like passing, tackling, kicking, things like that. So I've really found that just breaking down the process of kicking and passing to young players that maybe can, they have a certain baseline of kicking or passing, but they're just missing like one little piece, like their hand shape on the ball or their drop in their kicking process. I was able to really kind of fine tune that, work with them, and to see it kind of click together with what they already had was really rewarding. It was really awesome to see. So that was kind of how I found my place there.
As a coach at Life, what were some of your biggest accomplishments on the rugby side as a coach?
As a coach, it was definitely when I worked with the scrum halves and I could see like, so I'd get like a core, maybe two or three of our scrum halves and I'd work with them daily. And to get to see the small things that I could incorporate in their game to think of like, more scanning before the breakdown, when to kind of take the ball out of the breakdown and probe and put somebody through space, like getting to work with them on those little things and seeing them put it in their game and how much it elevated their game was really rewarding. And there was one scrum half that she came in, she was probably like our third team scrum half. And by the time my end of time at Life and about to leave, she was our starting scrum half. She had become an All-American. I mean, she was just on top of, I mean, she was playing the best rugby she had played. So it was really awesome to see her grow like that and to be a part of that.
Of course, while at Life, what was it like getting to compete for national championships as a coach?
As a coach, it was a lot different from being the player. I think I think it's more stressful being a coach, to be honest. As a player, like you go in, you don't really have to worry about anything like travel or logistics, and you're just kind of focused on what your job is and your role and the pressure of that. But as a coach, you got a lot to think about. You're kind of thinking about, on top of, you want them to perform and, well, how are we going to warm them up? Is this the right way to warm them up? Is this the right roster to put out? Is this the right time to sub somebody? It's like, did they get enough food before the game? Like there's like a million things. And I really didn't understand that side of the game until I became a coach. And I was like, oh my God, this is 10 times more stressful. I think after a game, I can hang out for a while and chat and do all this stuff. But after coaching a game like that, I'm like, I just need to go home and sleep for 2 days. Like I can't even can't even be around anybody.
While a coach at Life University, what was it like competing for a national championship and particularly beating Lindenwood?
So unfortunately, I wasn't there when they beat Lindenwood. as a coach. I was there as a player when we went to finals with them my senior year, and we lost to them, got second place. But it was awesome to finally see them get over that hill. I was already here at Brown when they had won against Lindenwood in the final, but it was great to see them finally get on top. And it'd been a long years coming, but it was good for them. And a lot of the players that were part of that group was the group that we had just that core group we had just finished working with before we left Life. So it's awesome to see that.
What was that transition like going from Life to Brown and getting to coach on the Ivy Leagues?
It was a lot different for sure. There's a big change in I think definitely the kind of athletes as well as the rules that you have with recruiting and being under the NCAA. Because at Life we didn't have to recruit much because it was such a big name. You know, everybody wanted to come to either us or Lindenwood, so we were lucky enough to have that. But it was definitely a challenge with this different kind of athlete that you're dealing with in the Ivies, and you know, the big focus obviously they're there for the school, and it's a big part of that, you know, and so kind of working with that and balancing that and making sure that they also want to compete and really really push themselves. But what's cool is that with the group that we have, that they really do want to win, and they do want to compete and push themselves. So was we were lucky to have a really good group when we came in that wanted to be on top and win championships. So
Coming to Brown, what was that feeling like stepping onto that rugby field for the first time as a coach?
it was cool because I actually had been at that field quite a few times because AIC did play Brown when I was there. So we had come to Brown's sevens tournaments quite often. And I think the last time I was there, I actually got a yellow card, no, red card, and I had to be kicked out of the tournament for the rest of it. But it was cool to be back there, and it was always a great time competing with them. I remember they were a great team, and you know, Kathy was an awesome coach, so she instilled a lot of great values in them. So it's an honor to be back there and to be working with that program, and whose coach was a real pioneer for the sports.
What does a typical game day look like for you as the assistant coach for Brown?
Typical game day, so we'll have the itinerary out for the game day the day before. If it's a home match, we'll probably get there about half an hour earlier before warm up, just to be there to prep for if there's anything that they need, make sure the game match balls are there, all the equipment's out. And then pretty much we're just kind of hanging around to make sure that if there's anything the players need, that they can come to us before it's time for their individual warm up. And then I will go with the scrum halves, particularly for their individual warm up, make sure that they're doing their primers, passing primers, and I'll work with them to make sure they're ready for the match. And that's pretty much my job up until kickoff. And then it's all them after that.
As the assistant coach for Brown, what was it like competing for the national championship in the CRC in 2023?
It was awesome. I think they managed the tournament really well. Like it was a great setup and great facility, and the girls were really good about being focused and dialed in. We had some weather, some pretty bad weather. I think the first day was raining. Our players have done a really good job of managing that kind of adversity and playing through it. We've dealt with some crazy weather, obviously being in the East Coast with a lot of rain, so they were used to it, and they played well. They played their game, and in the final, I mean, they did really well at playing smart, which something we really tried to instill in them is making their own decisions, but making the right decisions. And we practice that in practices. We make sure that we're putting them in situations where they have to make decisions, and we're not giving them the answer, and you know, they're forced to kind of be under that pressure. And they've done really well when it comes to, you know, the final match day, and they have to make those decisions under pressure. And they've done really, really well at doing that. And they did in the final. So, I mean, they got the championship, and it's just been up from here for them for sevens wise. So it's been great.
Who are some of the teams in your conference that you compete against each week?
So well, it's pretty much we've been playing, Dartmouth, Sacred Heart, Army, Harvard, and let me see. Yeah, and then we'll play AIC in the fall for our first match. And yeah, those are a few of the teams that we'll play, which is nice that we don't have to stick to just the Ivy teams, so they get pretty competitive conference. And for fall next year, Linden was also going to join our conference, so that'll be exciting. It's another level of competition that they'll be exposed to. So it's a competitive schedule. It's really good.
What is it like getting to play some of those teams like Army?
That's a good challenge. The physical team, they're a fit team. So we know that when it comes to them, that making our tackles, being very aggressive and assertive in the breakdown is important to our possession. And we just know that every time we're going to play a team like Army, it's going to be a physical match. And for 80 minutes or 14 minutes, we have to be ready endurance wise, and we have to be switched on, because that's a team that, if you don't take your foot off the gas, they're definitely going to take advantage of any opportunity. So we prep for that.
What is some home game atmosphere like when you play teams like Dartmouth versus going away and playing Army away?
It's awesome. I feel like we have a really good turnout. Like I think it's great. We have a lot of families that commit to coming to our matches, not even just home but away, but it's a really good turnout of people that come to the matches. And a lot of the parents will come, they'll set up food, we'll host the other team. It's a really nice atmosphere. I think the culture is really good. They all love each other. They're all very close. They all very close with each other's families. So it's a really nice culture and environment that we've got going on.
Can you talk about, of course, the culture that you've built for the help to build for Browns rugby?
Yeah, I think we were also really lucky to come in and find that the culture was really welcoming and really positive. We come from a very competitive program where we want them to obviously like each other and enjoy being around each other, but we're used to an environment where we have kind of certain groups of people that hang out with each other, but um, a lot of them, that environment's very competitive because you got 40 plus girls competing for spots and playing time. So not everybody's going to be super, family like and like each other. And that's okay. We don't, we understand that. But I think coming to Brown, it was really quite awesome to see that really close knit group. And how they support each other through very difficult times and adversity. And they already had kind of that foundation. So I think when we came, we really just added a little bit more and try to build on that. And we try to keep encouraging that, but also having them, kind of push each other a little bit more too during trainings and kind of emphasizing you guys can totally, love each other, be best friends. But when it's time to train, you guys need to push each other. And they were definitely understanding of that, and they wanted to bring that. So I think that we just kind of added on to that culture.
Can you talk about what the recruitment process looks like for those prospective student athletes looking to play collegiate rugby?
Yeah, so it was basically the process we've kind of found is we'll go to a few tournaments and we'll track some kids. Obviously, if they're sophomores, they're going into their junior year, we're gonna make sure we track them. And when it's time, we'll reach out. But what we like to do is kind of just review and evaluate film first. We really ask for film. And a lot of it, like full match films. I know people like to kind of clip out and highlight their games, but we watch all full match films and we kind of just see how that player does. If they play an 80-minute game, when do they start to kind of tank out a little bit? When does, like, or how's their work rate throughout the game? And are they working off the ball? Are they working on the ball? And, well, we watch that. And we're not always looking for the flashy players. Like, I definitely think that that's a big part of us, is that we're looking for the kids that have a lot of grit and high work rates during the match, have like a very good baseline of skills. So, we're looking at the passing, we're looking at the tackling. Are they dying at their feet in the tackle? Are they have leg drive in the tackle? We're very big on looking at the little things and not just how many tries are they scoring in a match. So that's big for us.
As a coach, what is it like seeing those freshmen put on that brown rugby uniform for the first time?
Oh, it's awesome. We're we're not like a team that's like, oh, if this person's a senior, they have to start, and this freshman is, if someone's performing day in and day out and they're a freshman and they're being consistent, we start them. So it's pretty awesome to see we've had quite a few freshmen start this past fall, and it's it's really special to see how, especially the group of freshmen that we had come in, really just like, I mean, go take advantage and go at it in the matches. Like I mean, it can be quite, intimidating to be a freshman and have to put on a jersey and play some good teams. But I mean, this group that we had come in, they really understood the task at hand, and they were just all right. Like they tackled it. They were like, well, here we go, we're gonna do it. And they did it really well, and they handled feedback gracefully, and they were just hungry to get better. So it's pretty awesome to see when freshmen are like that, and push also, some of our players that have been here for a while, and be like, wow, this player's coming in, that they're working day in and day out to get better, and it's really awesome to see that.
What is it like getting to see those freshmen achieve those big milestones in their career?
It's really rewarding. It's truly rewarding as a staff, because to be part of that, and I think that's my favorite part about coaching, is seeing that, like, you had a little bit of a part in that, and like helping them with the film sessions or the extra skill sessions you spent time with them on, and then being able to use all those extras and see kind of those rewards come from all that hard work. So, to see them make all Americans, or to make all team, like it's special, and definitely rewarding as a coach.
What is it like getting to see those seniors put on that brown rugby uniform for the last time?
Yeah, it's special. It's for them, I think it's a lot of reflection too, when you put on that jersey for the last time, and you stand there for the last time, play that last match. I think you get to kind of feel like you've given a lot to the program. You've done your best to leave the jersey better than you found it. And as a coach too, it's always sad to see, those seniors leave, but that you did your best, and they did their best, and they gave everything they had. So they're going to move on to awesome things, and they're going to carry a lot of those moments and those lessons with them as well. So
As a coach, what is it like getting to see those players go on and achieve great things and playing for a national team like you have?
it's amazing. Yeah, it's really, again, it's just really rewarding to see that. And I think, there's a lot of players you're like, wow, they're so capable of going this far, and to see some of the players you didn't expect either, that really, like, it's not to say that they weren't special or anything, but it's like, they really had to work a little bit harder than the people with a little more natural talent. I think it's really, really special to see those players go far, and maybe they didn't get a lot of recognition, while they were in college or high school, and they've moved on to play WPL, or to go play internationally. That's really amazing. And I think that's the great thing about the sport, is you can excel in so many different ways of playing a different position, or there's so many ways you could say success, like them going to play internationally, not just playing for the national team, but going to get a great job, or to do something pretty amazing outside of rugby, is still just as rewarding.
What are some of your future plans for the Browns rugby program moving forward?
I think our biggest, goal is that we want to win a 15s national championship. We got two down for sevens right now, and I think our biggest thing is we want to win at 15s one. We want to take over the Naira Conference. That's our big long-term one. I mean, it's obviously a few from now, just making finals and getting more of the players that we want in, and continuing to build the program. But I think that's the big one. And I think teams out there know that we're coming for them, because we're just moving up. We just keep moving up.
What advice would you give those incoming freshmen entering their first year of college rugby?
I've told a lot of them, just take advantage of all the resources that are offered at Brown for student athletes. It's it's really nice that they have like so many resources for tutoring, lounges by the locker room. Like they have all these resources to succeed. I think just using as much as you can to balance being an athlete and also a student at an Ivy League is tough. So using all those resources and just take it one day at a time. I know what I've learned from a lot of these players is that they want to be the best overnight, and it's a process, and it's just a trust in the process, and take it season by season, day by day, and they'll get better.
What advice would you give those players looking to represent a national team, whether it's US, Canada, and go to the Olympics one day?
I think it's just dedication to your craft. It really is the small things. I think the little things, the details that get you to the top. You have to obviously be very fit and work on, what you eat, take care of your body being an athlete, but it's really about the little things and your dedication to your craft, whether it's you're a hooker and you need to throw, or it's a scrum half and you got to pass and kick. Just dedication to that process, and day in and day out, just trying to make sure that you're getting that process down and improving your craft, and take advice and learn from everybody and anybody. Don't we're always going to be a student of the game, so don't ever feel like you're too big or you've arrived. Everybody can help you in some way. And so being open to always getting that feedback and having that discussion with somebody can take you a lot further than doing it alone. So
What advice would you give those coaches looking to get started in coaching in college women's rugby?
I'd say just if you're a player and you've had some experience, just get after it now, get your certifications, and we need more coaches in the women's game, and we need more people that want to help grow the sport at the high school, middle school, every level. So I'd say just do it now, and watch rugby and help us grow the sport more. So yeah.
That's great advice. Where can my listeners find you on social media along with the Browns University Rugby Program?
So I know that for Brown, there's Brown Women's Rugby, I believe is the account. I'm sorry, I'm so bad with social media. I don't actually have any of it. But you could definitely find Brown Women's Rugby like on Instagram and Twitter or X and Facebook for sure, I'm sure. So
Thank you
yeah.
again, Coach Bridget Kahele, for your interview, and best luck in your future as the Browns assistant women's rugby coach.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. You can find Brandon Sports Talk on Instagram at Brandon Sports Talk, Twitter at Talk_Brandon, and you can find me on YouTube at Brandon Sports Talk. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you again, Coach Bridget, for your interview, and best luck in your future.
You've been watching Brandon Sports Talk. Please feel free to like, share, and subscribe to Brandon Sports Talk on social media and on YouTube.